Girl Scouts, my name's Molly. I'm the program director at Girl Scouts Virginia Skyline Council located in Roanoke, Virginia. And today we're going to be covering the Senior Outdoor Art Master Badge, Step 5. First we're going to go over all the steps, and again we're just doing Step 5 today. So Step 1 is to explore art outdoors. Step 2 is to make something. 3 is to create or share music inspired by nature. Step 4 is to capture nature digitally, and Step 5 is to design outdoors. That's what we're doing today. Now, when you've completed this entire badge, you will have learned to create art outdoors with a focus on the environment. All right, so just a few tips before we get started here. Things to remember anytime you're going outdoors. You want to be conscious of things. The first is not to go alone. Now that doesn't necessarily apply in the same way right now as it normally would. I'd normally recommend the buddy system. Obviously, you're probably not going to be wanting going far from home regardless. If you are, just take a buddy that's, someone you're already living with in your home, letting an adult know where you're going, that sort of thing. And again, you're not going to be going too far from home. I'm just going to be in my backyard today, so it's a little different than it might normally be, but still things that are good to remember. You also want to be prepared. So sometimes that means you're going to be looking at weird weather. It's a pretty nice day today, but you want to make sure you dress the part. So if it's going to be rainy, bringing a rain jacket, things like that, and just knowing what conditions you're going to be facing. You also want to be prepared with your supplies. So we don't need much today, but anytime you're going out in the world, you want to make sure you're prepared. So if you're in the outdoors, it's always good to have a water bottle, some snacks, maybe a first aid kit depending on where you're going. And then a cell phone is always important so you can make sure that you're staying connected, okay? And you want to be aware of your surroundings. Again, we're not going too far from home right now, but it's always good to know where you are and be conscious of everyone else that's out there. One other thing that you want to make sure you're keeping in mind when you're outdoors is the leave no trace principles. And in particular, with regard to this exercise today, you want to make sure you leave what you find. Now that might sound a little counterintuitive because we're using outdoor materials, but it's very important to just remember to not pick flowers or trample where you shouldn't trample, that sort of thing. You may see me today pick a couple things, but that's because I'm in my own backyard. It's a little different when you're in your own yard as opposed to when you're out in public property. You also want to respect wildlife. So again, we're going to be outside respecting wildlife and then being considerate of others. So again, know your surroundings. If there's other people around wherever you're going, just be respectful of them. So let's get started here, and we're going to do Step 5, design outdoors. And so for this step, there's lots of different ways, but we're going to design a nature-based art project, and we're going to create it outdoors. So I'm back in my backyard, and I thought that a really great thing to do for this step would be to create a mandala. And I don't know if you know what a mandala is. It literally translates to circle in Sanskrit. And essentially it's a geometric pattern that the creation of it is a way to focus your attention, and it's a meditative process. Now, mandalas have a lot of cultural and historical significance. They're really important in a number of religious traditions, including Hinduism and Buddhism. And there's evidence they were even historically used in ancient Aztec and Mayan cultures as well. And so we're going to make a mandala, again, out of nature. It's a nature-based art project. And so the first step is going to be collecting materials. So I've done this already, but I'm going to collect a couple other things. So first I'm going to go, and again, I'm just in my yard, but I'm going to collect, there's these little white flowers right here. I don't know if you can see. And I'm going to actually get a couple of those. I've already got a few. I have a handful of other things already set up, so we're gonna get started on that. All right, so here's some of my materials that I wanted to create with today. So I've got some rocks, just some leaves for a little color. We've got these more weeds right here, some weeds right here with little white flowers on them, sticks, grasses, and then just some little twigs. And I also found this little bit of moss that I really like because I think moss is really, really pretty. And so I'm gonna just create it right here on my picnic table. And like I said, the mandala it's a circular geometric pattern, and there's really no right and wrong way to do this. So I'm just gonna get started. And again, it's a meditative process. So part of this is gonna be, I'm just gonna listen to nature and try to focus on what's going on around me in the world. And so if you want, you can listen with me. I'm gonna listen for maybe some animal sounds. I live in the city, so even though I'm outside, I do have a lot of city noises too. But we're gonna listen. There's plenty of wildlife, so we're gonna listen for some of those. Probably hear some car noises and my neighbor doing some construction, but that's okay. There's plenty of nature noises too. I don't know if you can hear, there's a lot of birds chirping on this beautiful spring day. I live near the river, so I can sometimes, probably isn't caught in the camera's mic, but I can hear some really, really beautiful river sounds. Often get a lot of buzzing bees and insects around here. And one thing about mandalas is a lot of them, you see, you know, it's a circular pattern. They're often very symmetrical. And so I am not a perfectionist, but I am going to try to get it, you know, somewhat symmetrical. I'm going to add in some of these white flowers. And so when you're doing your creation, just make it your own. It's art, so there is no right or wrong way to do it. I'm going to add some more stones in on the edges here. And this is just a really great way to refocus attention when there's a lot going on in the world and things are a little crazy. It's a nice way to reconnect with nature, which I really, really love. All right, and I'm going to finish it off with some of these beautiful little yellow flowers. Little dandelions. Awesome. And that's my mandala. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you enjoy step 5, creating your own art outside. Thanks.